Hey everybody, it's Gary. I'm back, and it is now day 2. I'm in Vancouver. I'm heading to a business meeting to meet the CEO and team behind Saga Metals, which is another company that is at the forefront of precious metals mining. And what these guys are doing is more critical research, critical investment into the strategic initiative that President Trump is working towards with respect to that mining summit they had a couple weeks ago. Now, it's going to be an interesting meeting. I'm going to learn a lot about the process, the mining locations, what it takes to start a mine. This is all still preliminary before our official site visit that's going to be with Vizsla Copper, which is going to be in Smithers tomorrow. So really great things happening here. I'm learning a tremendous amount with respect to how critical minerals play a role in the national security infrastructure. And of course, I am in Canada, and the reason I'm in Canada is because the Vizsla Copper mine that we're going to be visiting out in the Canadian wilderness tomorrow is really just it's the start of a mining process. It's the initial exploratory phase, and how they track and look for these veins of precious metals, which are critical. Now, Vizsla Copper has their own mine here in Canada. They got mines, I guess, all over the world, and this is all preliminary to a major site visit that we're anticipating later in the spring at the Alaska mine, which is of course on sovereign U.S. territory. And that mine actually just got the endorsement of the governor of Alaska, which is a huge deal. So that is another strategic mining operation that taps directly into the national security push that President Trump is doing to free us from the bonds of blackmail from China. So all these meetings, everything's taking place here is an exploratory investigation into how all these mines connect to each other and how they all fulfill the greater agenda of securing minerals on our side of the hemisphere in North America. And the resource-rich nation which Canada is, and of course the resource-rich areas in Alaska, because America has the resources, but for years and years and years, what has happened is so much red tape and bureaucracy have basically hamstrung all of these mines and make us dependent upon foreign nations. And that's where President Trump saw the blind spot. He stepped in and he's like, look, we cannot be dependent upon foreign nations. We need to be self-sufficient. We cannot let other nations dictate where we get our precious minerals, where we get our resources. Because at the end of the day, we need to have self-sufficient in-house solutions to protect our national security, to protect the materials that are required to build the fighter jets and to build the satellites and the data centers and the cell phones. So when you have to outsource all of your material, you're screwed. It's funny, I actually read a story the other day. I was up late scrolling, and I came across a story about the classic SR-71 Blackbird, one of my favorite spy planes. It was a picture on my wall as a kid, and I had no idea that in order to make that spy plane, that they actually had to get the titanium to build that plane from Russia. And in order for them to get that material from Russia during the Cold War, the CIA built shell companies, and then they bought the titanium, which built the SR-71 Blackbird. Now, if you think about how that played out back then when they were building this jet, we don't have to do that anymore when we get our titanium from domestic sources. We don't have to expose ourselves to clandestine activities so that we can shore up our national security in our spying apparatus from the intelligence agencies. So that's why all this stuff is important. And it looks like we're pulling up to our destination. And just want to give you guys a quick update. I'm going into the meeting now, and tomorrow is the big trip to Smithers Helicopter Canadian Wilderness. It's going to be cold. I'm excited, but I'm really ready to learn a lot and teach you guys along the way. We'll see you soon.